Thank you. That was quite amazing. So I'm a business professor. I'm going to ask you businessy questions. So the first one is, the prizes that you've done really successfully have had commercialization opportunities on the other side. Mm-hmm. You know, the big companies want to do this, the 100-mile-a-gallon car. What do you think, what's your experience as you try and you're dabbling more and trying to get more into these issues where the impact would be purely social as opposed to the opportunity for commercial?
So we have a number of lessons we've learned over the years, and having a business engine on the back end of these prizes we think is very important for them to scale. And we're really interested, our mission is to bring about radical breakthroughs for the benefit of humanity. And so the ecosystem we create is, the prize money is not the reason people do it. It credentials it. It raises it to the top of the front page of the newspapers and the media. It gets people excited. And then the fact that we're putting a bold objective out there with a large amount of money gives teams excuses to self-organize. And there are a lot of talented people who just, you know, they want something to aim at, something to shoot at in their life. And this gives them the rationale. We set the amount of money as the amount of money that we think a team would need to spend to win that competition. But once the prize is won, you know, we get 6 billion media impressions, documentaries written about it, and we want to make sure that the winning design just doesn't end up in a museum, but that instead there's an industry and a business that's created that perpetuates the technology going forward. So it's really important to have a business back end for it. And doing good and doing well, you know, I think is what is possible without question.
I think you're, you know, especially medical breakthroughs, all of these breakthroughs are pretty amazing effect for everybody in the world. So let me ask you another question. I know that part of the model is you have to raise the $10 million prize, but there's also more money you have to raise because you have to make this prize a reality. Sure. It's not like you just do it free. How does the model work in terms of XPrize Foundation itself? So we've learned that doing prizes is hard. There are, for every prize that's launched out there, there's probably 10 that have failed. And we've studied, you know, lots of them. So we do a lot of work in advance. Our largest group inside the XPrize Foundation is our prize development team. And we probably spend somewhere on the order of, for an XPrize, on the order of $500,000 of money up front actually designing the prize. Going out there and talking to prospective teams, if we did this, would you compete? Talking to the media, would you follow this? Going out there and making sure that when we launch the prize, their teams are ready to register. Looking at the regulatory side, so we're not coming across in anything that's going to be against the law, or do we have to change the laws to allow for this breakthrough to occur? For the private space flight, the rules and regulations to allow for private space flight in the United States did not exist. I actually had to go and lobby the FAA and then Congress to change the regulations to allow this industry to come into existence, and we did. And sometimes a large prize can be a forcing function for regulatory change. So we spend about $500,000 thereabouts, if it could be larger, if it's more complex, of prize dev, and out of that comes an entire business plan for the layout of the prize. And then the prize money will be, if it's a X challenge, could be $1 million. If it's next prize, could be 10 million or more, depending how hard it is, how big it is. And then we'll spend on the order of $1 million a year administering the prize, running it, recruiting teams, driving PR, creating an educational platform so that high school teams or college teams have things to do at the same time, and really trying to change the global paradigm of what is possible. And these prizes will take 3 to 8 years. So the Ansari X Prize was a $10 million prize. We probably spent about $8 million administering it. The Progressive Automotive X Prize was $10 million, but because it was so complex, you know, 136 vehicles at the Michigan International Speedway, we probably spent about $20 million or more administering it. Amazing. And just last, before we get to the questions, what's harder for you, coming up with a challenge or coming up with the money?
Wow. Well, it clearly was coming up with the money in the beginning. That was, I was flabbergasted how difficult it was. I really thought it would be really hard to attract teams and easy to get the money because it was a no-lose situation. You pay only after someone's done it. Today, really coming up with great X Prizes is hard work. We at our we have our board of trustees and we have our vision circle. Our vision circle are the folks who've committed $2.5 million or more over a 5-year period. And it's folks like, Larry and Sergey and Ratan Tata and others. But we get together once a year, and for 2 days we evaluate. Last year we evaluated 80 prize ideas. And we go through a filtering process, debate and discussion. We prioritize, come up with our top 10, and we spend the year trying to execute on those. It's amazingly fun, but it's also very frustrating.